So we're group one, and we decided to do an article for our presentation. The article is Racism in the Workplace. The article is about a man named Wayne A. Elliott, who was a warehouse worker for Lockheed Martin Corporation. At this position, Elliott experienced a great deal of racism from his fellow colleagues, including his manager. When Elliott finally decided to complain to a supervisor, instead of helping the situation, the supervisor assigned him to a difficult, more physically demanding job than his other co-workers. The harassment continued for about a year until Elliott and a few others started a small group called Workers Against Discrimination. Through this group, 2 case actions were filed against the company for harassment. According to the article, dozens of household companies are currently in lawsuits regarding discrimination in the workplace. And since 1990, the number of cases has doubled to 20,000 a year. It's become a dilemma for corporations. They don't want to admit a problem with discrimination, as it would result in bad publicity and lawsuits. However, if the problem continues to be denied, things will only get worse for the workers.
The topic we've chosen to relate to our article is conflict and negotiation. Conflict being when a group thinks that something that they value has or will be affected by another group in a negative way. When conflict's positive and works towards satisfying group goals and performance, it's classified as functional conflict, whereas on the other hand, conflict working against group performance and goals would be classified as dysfunctional conflict. There's 3 main sources that conflict can arise from. If an organization has poor communication or an inadequate organizational structure, it can lead to conflict. Also, simple personality differences between employees can be a difficult form of conflict for organizations to overcome. When trying to overcome conflict, there's 5 main strategies an organization can use. 3 of them are rather more ineffective and consist of forcing one's will upon another, avoiding the conflict, or yielding to it. 2 of the more effective strategies include compromising or finding a middle ground between the 2 groups' values, or working to attempt to satisfy both values of the group so that they're optimized.
It is evident that there is major conflict occurring in this article. The issue had begun as a conflict only affecting Elliott and had grown to involve other individuals as well. This meant that it is now classified as an intergroup conflict. Taking into consideration the levels of conflict within the organization, it is safe to say that this conflict was dysfunctional as it impedes on the group's overall performance. Elliott and others were unable to perform highly given the working conditions they had been facing. If the organization was able to eliminate the discriminatory aspects of the workplace, they could have increased the performance levels. There are poor levels of communication within this organization, which could be the reason this conflict was able to escalate this far. As soon as the conflict had begun, a strategy should have been put into place to stop it immediately.
The second aspect of our topic is negotiation, which generally is a 5-step process. First, a negotiation strategy is developed by both parties, followed by the development of rules so that the negotiation can remain relatively civil. Then, the positions of each party are communicated to each other so that they can be understood properly, and then the bulk of the bargaining process takes place. This can vary in time length, but once completed, both sides will agree and implement the agreed upon solution. When conducting negotiation, there's 2 main strategies which an organization can choose to use, one being distributive bargaining and the second integrated bargaining. In distributive bargaining, the focus is on a lose-win situation, meaning that anything one organization is going to gain will come at the expense of another. This is usually focused more on short-term relationships, as it's hard to consistently negotiate in this manner with another party. The other strategy is integrative bargaining, which actually focuses on a win-win situation. This means that both sides of the party will attempt to satisfy the other's needs as well as their own, so that they can build stronger long-term relationships for negotiations.